let's talk about overbetting river. So my thoughts are this basically. On this board, I'm gonna call with like I even alluded to King 10 suited maybe being a call on this board. So I'm gonna call on this flop with all my 8x, all my Jack X, like nines, might call sevens, probably not, maybe. All my open enders, which is just really 9-10 suited. I don't think I call 9-10 off against a button 3x. So 9-10 suited, all my queen tens, I'm gonna have like queen nines in my range here. I'm gonna check this hand back. Or I have a gutter. The gutter makes it really tempting to bet. And the fact that it's a fish, and I feel naughty for this, so I'm just gonna bet. But would be a neat hand to check back, especially if I didn't have the gutter. Let me check this turn though. So I have all like 16 combos of queen 10. I have probably like half of the combos of queen 9. I probably don't flat all the offsuit ones. I have just literally tons and tons and tons of misdraws on this board. And if I bet 2/3 pot here, it's going to result in me bluffing way too often for that bet size, I think. Like if I can only have, I'm going to be basically bluffing too often on this for that bet size. Now, that might not necessarily be a bad thing, because maybe people just fold too often, and I can just get away with bluffing on this river a lot when people check back this turn card. Most people don't check back a jack on the turn, you know? But again, I'm just kind of like a freak when it comes to trying to be balanced. So I think there's something to be said about overbetting this river when I can have all the good eights, and it's pretty unlikely that the button has an eight. I mean, I guess it's possible, but button here is really tight openers. I'm going to fold king 9. So, like, at the same time, though, it's really tough for the button to have many bluff catchers either. So maybe, like, exploitively, I should just bluff here a lot and bet 2/3 pot, which is also a little more consistent with the sizing I'd want to use with, like, Jack 9 or Jack X. So it's something to think about. Not sure if my play is good or bad, to be quite honest with you. I think it's one of those things where, you know, every time somebody overbets a turn, they have, like, an 8. But not really sure what to think of my strategy here. I can see merits from both, and I'm not a strong enough player to know which is correct. But I do know that I have a lot of misdraws I'm going to be bluffing with here. And so a larger bet will allow me to bluff more often, especially when he's capped. So it's something to, I don't know. I do not know. If anybody does know, maybe Matt Jana would have a better idea of what I should be doing there. I feel like there's room for overbetting. I also feel like 2/3 pot probably is just a good exploitive bluff there, where when most people check back that turn, they're folding the river something like probably over 3/4 of the time. So why I'm worried about being balanced there is just kind of maybe beyond me. So maybe my play there is pretty shitty actually. But I got called, so virtual high five, everyone. Good play, Rick. I love seeing free flops with these hands. I always mention that I feel like these bets are kind of futile, but it's such a pretty hand to bet the flop with. I just have to fold to the big 3-bet here. Jack 10. Just a lot of turn cards that are decent for me. It's a board where he's going to continue decently often. I need him to fold 40% of the time, a little less than that actually with this particular hand. So I like my play. I like it enough, I guess. Gotta make sure I'm not folding my big blind too often to the small blind when they open, though. Definitely want to make their liberal opens minus EV. Again, this is one of those boards I'm going to check back decently often as a pre-flop raiser on. A lot of hands I need to be checking back here, I think. I'm going to be calling this turn. And I'm very happily calling that bet, for sure. I would probably check back again with like queen nine on this board. Would probably check back a lot of my queens that are worse than like ace queen here on that jack turn, and then I'll bet all my jacks and and then some of my bluffs that I was giving up with. That way, I'm not folding too often to river bets.